What's going on, good people? This is your boy Prime, and it's about that time. Today is a good day. So for you guys that's going to be driving today, well, you can make a lot of money today. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, today is the day of the Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight, and a lot of drivers will not be driving today, me including. I will not be driving, so that will leave some open vacancy out there for you guys to be able to make some money. So if you're driving, definitely wait for them surges because they should be plentiful. Okay, but that's not why I'm here today. Okay, the reason why I'm here today is I want to talk about, especially for like new drivers, so that new drivers understand some of the top reasons for being deactivated, for getting your account deactivated with Uber. So I have my computer here off site. You can't really see it off screen here. So let me go to some of the top reasons why. Okay, a Uber driver can be deactivated. This is also what Lyft drivers have to go through as well. You can be deactivated for having your rating drop below a 4.6. Okay, so just remember, under 4.6, not good. Okay, of course you'll want to keep your rating somewhere around like 4.7, 4.8 at least. 4.7. That way you have a little cushion to be able to put somebody out if you need to. Because anybody know about me, I put a lot of people out of my car. I don't care. Okay. You got one chance to make a mistake in my car and you a done deal. Okay, so keep in mind that documents expire, which is a common one. You cancel too many rides to avoid an acceptance rate. Some drivers will accept a ride then immediately cancel it. Uber will deactivate you for canceling too many rides. Okay. Unsafe driving, so that means, obviously speeding, running red lights, stuff like that. Unwanted contact with passenger after the ride is over. I know I have said this before, but do not touch your passenger. Now, I hate when they touch me, and I typically don't report those incidents because, like, I had a passenger just yesterday, actually, wanted to give me a handshake or dap or whatever. Not really. I won't use the word dap. It was a female and she wanted to shake my hand. And typically that's not what is considered unwanted contact. But Uber do have a policy where there's never supposed to be any kind of contact at all between passengers in the vehicle or driver and passenger. So even that could be considered a violation of Uber's policy. But in a sense, it's kind of like, what do? You leave the passenger hanging? You don't really want to do that either. So that one you got to kind of make a judgment call on. You can become inactive if you do not give a ride within 90 days. So if you don't drive a lot and you go 90 days without driving, that they can deactivate you for that. Obviously, a passenger makes a serious complaint about you, maybe you were drunk or something like that, that's typically something that they will deactivate you really quick. And when I say this, I want everybody to know that these are also mostly what Lyft policies look like as well. So definitely in this situation, what keeps you activated here in this situation is having a dash cam. Because if a passenger ever makes this kind of claim against you, the only way you can fight it is to have evidence. Now, of course, in a situation like this, Uber does their little investigation, Lyft does their investigation. They don't have any evidence either. So, it may take 3 or 4 days, it may take a week for you to be back active again. But what keeps you from even having to go through this entire process is just having evidence that essentially keeps you out of harm's way here. Okay, so having a dash cam is important, people. It costs $100 or whatever. I mean, if you really want to get, really into it, it's a lot more stuff out there that you can get that's pricey. Violating Uber's terms of service. Common policy violation that caused deactivation, manipulating hour pay guarantees, picking up street hails, manipulating rating surge, picking and choosing passengers. Okay, can't do that. A failed background check refresh, and what that is every year, Uber and Lyft they run a background check on you every year to just see if you had anything that pop up, and if those things occur, they will deactivate you. This is a big one because I'm starting to see it a lot. Driving with a companion in the car. A lot of women do this because they're, they're looking at it as a safety precaution. They have their brother in the car or whatever, and he's in the front seat like a security guard. That's a no-no. Because number one, the passenger, when they get in the car, they don't really expect someone to be sitting there unless it's an Uber pool or a Lyft line. And if they didn't request a Lyft line or Uber pool, there shouldn't be anybody sitting there. So you want to be careful. Matter of fact, not even careful. You don't even want to do that, okay? To my female drivers that's out there that's feeling, oh, okay, well, I mean, how do I protect myself? Well, number one, I have always been a big advocate on having a dash cam. I know I already talked about that already, but that's how you protect yourself. There's also another story out there right now that Uber driver is suing Uber because they deactivated him because he had a handgun, got into a situation with a passenger. He was able to defend himself with his handgun. But see, I know it's going to be some people that's going to automatically is going to disagree with me. I used to be a CCW carrier. I used to have my license for it. I actually forfeited that because I felt that it actually got me in more trouble than not, right? So it actually got me pulled over a lot more. It got, I haven't been pulled over in 10 years, 10, 12 years, right? And I haven't had that handgun, that license for a long time now. So my point here is that I think that having a handgun gets you in more trouble, and you are inapt to actually use it if you need it. And I know some people will say, well, my Second Amendment right, and that's all gravy. I really don't agree with the Second Amendment right myself because I just don't feel like we need guns. It's other countries in the world that don't have guns, and they're safer than we are. So to me, I call baloney. Like I said, I know people are going to disagree with me about this because some people, they feel they need their protection. And that's fine. If you think you need it, then do what you do. But I'm letting you know right now, you will be deactivated if you get into a situation. So it's not really a good thing to do. I think there's other ways to defend yourself better than having a handgun. And let me explain something to you. When you're sitting in a seat, your handgun is here. They're behind you. How do you expect to get to your gun faster than they can put a chokehold on you? And then like my thing would be if Uber and Lyft allow drivers to have handguns, what would happen? I think honestly a lot more drivers will get disarmed trying to pull the gun than they would be able to defend themselves. Some may be a little more savvy and maybe can defend themselves in the struggle with the handgun, but some may not. And I think you'll end up getting shot with your own gun, which I think is the most disrespectful thing other than spitting on somebody. Okay? So I don't agree with having handguns at all. I don't agree with the public having handguns. I don't agree with drivers having handguns. I just don't agree with it. Matter of fact, there's places where police don't even have handguns, and their community is safer because of it. So think about that for a second. Now, one of the things that people always, I always hear this, drivers always, they're confused about this, and especially new drivers. Will I be deactivated if I have a low acceptance rate? No, you will not. I have had a low acceptance rate for a while. Okay, I average somewhere around 60-50% because I'm typically picking and choosing which rider I want to pick up. Now, how does this correlate with that one thing that I told you about? The difference between picking and choosing who you want to pick up is when you actually get to the pickup and you're just like, nah, I'm not taking you. Okay? That's picking and choosing. I'm picking and choosing before the ride is even accepted. That's different. That's okay. Okay? So basically, what you want to do here is you want to be able to gauge what type of clientele and what type of ride you're going to basically accept. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Am I always right? No. But I've been doing this for a while, so I know if I pick up at Walmart or a supermarket, typically those rides are not long rides. Now, the exception, had a ride yesterday. Picked up at, I forgot the name of the supermarket, but it's a supermarket, and typically I wouldn't pick up there. But I had the Maestro on, which Maestro automatically accepts rides for you, and it accepted a ride for me. And I picked the guy up. He went far. He went to, he went like 20 something miles away. Most likely those rides don't happen like that, but it did there. So now, as you can see, you hear some noise coming in the room. That's my girlfriend, basically distracting me right now. But I'm gonna keep going, like nothing, like never happened, right? Okay. Now, it says here, how can you reactivate your Uber account? It says here, in some situations, you can reactivate your driver account if you correct the issues that got you deactivated and follow up with Uber via email or in person. Uber can be slow moving machine, so be patient but stay persistent and email every few days. Okay, it also goes on and says you probably won't get reactivated if you violate Uber policy that relate to safety or fraud. Uber thinks you broke the rules or did something unsafe, they won't want you back. You will receive a serious passenger. If you receive a serious passenger complaint, Uber values the passenger experience over anything else. So it's very unlikely you will be reactivated in that situation. Okay. So, and just keep in mind, as always, the passenger word against yours. And their word is more powerful. That's the reason why having a dash cam is so important, because when you have a dash cam, it turns the tables on them. Now, your word don't mean crap, because I have evidence against you that proves that you were lying. It's that simple. It basically goes on and says, avoid deactivation by Uber by just being a better driver. Now, that's my time. Like I always say, don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. That's been my time. And me, my name is, they call me Prime,